Welcome to the Sally O'Neill podcast, where I get to be your clinical nutritionist for a quick snippet of time and take you through evidence-based and real-world strategies to help you reach your goals faster and more sustainably than ever before. Now, I take nutritional science and translate it from lab to life to save you the headache. And my mission is to empower you with the juiciest bits of my nutrition degree and years in clinical practice so you can become the scientist of your own body, build a really healthy relationship with food and movement, and then hopefully fire me because you're thriving all on your own. Now, this podcast is part of the work that I do inside Status 80/20, my coaching platform that is designed to help women 30 and over optimize their hormones, their metabolism, and their energy. So if you're curious about working together, you'll find all the links in the show notes beneath the podcast. Now, today's episode is a little bit different and pretty special. Think of it as a sneak peek inside of one of my client sessions one-on-one. You'll get to listen in as I explore someone's daily routines, nutrition, and well-being strategies, just like I do behind the scenes in clinic. Now, today I'm joined by my good friend, David the Medium, internationally recognized as Australia's leading psychic medium. He's also a keynote speaker, and he has a podcast called The Medium at Large, and soon to be touring Australia and New Zealand in a live show at the end of 2025. Now, you might know David for his intuitive abilities, but today we're taking a little bit of a different angle and deep diving into real-world habits to support his energy, emotional regulation, focus, and recovery. As someone who spends his days holding space for others, we're going to unpack his morning rituals, his nutrition, any supplements that he takes, how he manages stress and pressure and public life, all through the functional health lens. Now, whether you're curious about energetic work, whether it fits into your modern life and well-being, or whether you just love hearing how others structure their day to show up as their best, this episode is for you. This episode of the Sally O'Neill podcast is brought proudly to you by Healerwith. Healerwith has a premium practitioner-grade supplement range I personally use and prescribe to my clients through my official practitioner portal here in Australia, which means that it's been vetted for efficacy too. As a clinical nutritionist, I'm incredibly selective about what I recommend. It can be the difference between me being successful in my job and not. And I really trust Healerwith thanks to its potency, its purity, and its clinical credibility. I love working with single dose herbs rather than using formulations because it means that I can get really granular on dosage for clients and I understand which supplement is specifically supporting them in the way that they need. And because they're not mixed with a potion of other things, it often means that they're more powerful too. Now, my own kitchen shelf is stocked with their saffron for mood and emotional balance, ashwagandha for reducing symptoms of stress, and ginkgo to support my concentration. But their range goes far beyond that, from immunity and sleep and to liver detoxification and digestive health, plus energy and focus. Healerwith has science-backed options to suit all of your wellness needs. They're made with really good therapeutic doses, minimal excipients, and they come in this eco glass packaging, which is so good without the microplastics, no unnecessary fluff going into your body, and you're not going to find them on supermarket shelves. They're now available exclusively online at healerwith.com.au. And of course, please always read the label and follow the directions for use. And if symptoms persist, please speak to your health professional. David, welcome, my darling. I'm so happy to have you here. Absolutely. I love it when I get such cool friends that get to come on the studio, and we're going to pretend that you're in my clinic and we're going to run over some really cool nutrition questions. I'm going to break the ice by kicking off with saying, what did you last have as either a takeaway or a restaurant meal, if you want to go there? And where was it?
Pippa and I was literally just up the road.
Amazing.
At the end of your street.
Yeah.
And I had a sausage roll with a Red Bull.
Oh, Red Bull.
I was like, we've gone deep into it already.
We're swilling it down with some caffeine. Perfect. Good man. I can tell the diet chat is going to be incredible.
So the last time I had a takeaway was about 20 minutes ago. Yeah.
We prepared. We prepared.
Yeah.
Okay, so we obviously know you're an incredible medium. I'm sure people have come across your work. You have a devout following, which we love. Everyone's like so dedicated to you and your social media. And you also speak a lot on politics, which honestly loses me a lot of the time, but I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do and how it came to be for you? Because it's such an interesting story.
It's a really interesting background. Exactly. Yeah, thank you. So I am a psychic medium, which means that I have the ability to communicate with those that have crossed over. And as a psychic, I'm able to foresee and predict future timelines and future events. But my background's very polar opposites of that because I worked in corporate, like from the ages of 18 to 30. I predominantly worked in law most of that time, and I was studying counterterrorism, and I really saw my journey as leading me into like Homeland Security and being a spy and, doing the corporate 9 to 5. And yeah, when I hit 30, that all changed and I moved and transitioned into doing this full time. But I've known since the age of 24, I've been able to do what I do in Connect with Spirit.
Amazing. Yeah. Why the pivot at 30? Did you just literally wake up one day and you're like, I've had a calling. This is it.
Well, I think the universe was sick of me because like I got told at 24 that I was a medium, like you're a wizard, Harry, by another psychic, and did a mentoring class with her, and turns out I could connect really easily and do it really well. And I was still working corporate though. Like I would maybe have 1 or 2 clients a week, but I was still doing the 9 to 5. And yeah, I just think the universe got sick of me. It's like, when are you going to transition into it properly? So this was 2016, and honestly, so like everything just went and yeah, everything changed in 2016, and I was suddenly unemployed, and I just moved house, and I was still studying, and I'm like, what are you doing with your life? And that's when I had clients that maybe I was reading, once every sort of year or so, because I'd maybe read 1 or 2 clients a week on the side, and they started messaging me, being like, "Are you ever free?"
I'll just say that is such a cool friend skill. Like if I had just call on my friend and be like, "Hey, I need a reading. I'm having a moment." Do you find that people come to you when they're having a bit of a life transition or something maybe scary has happened, or like there's obviously grief, or they're having kind of a pivot in their life? Because I certainly, when I've sought help from mediums or anyone spiritual, really, it's normally when I'm going through a rough patch.
That's it. I mean, it really is all about seeking extra guidance and support in a lot of ways. The majority of my clients are, as you mentioned, they're wanting to connect with loved ones that have crossed over. So a lot of that's about grief and, just knowing that their loved ones are still around them and still watching over. But yeah, especially when people go through really big life decisions, because as a psychic, your loved ones will talk about everything with you. So we can do guidance on careers, relationships, when there's a lot of turbulence going on in the world. I mean, I've been busy the last 5 years because if you haven't noticed, it's been a little bit crazy since 2020, the world.
The US. You are the center of all the problems.
Yeah, well, even COVID was really big because obviously there was a lot of people that had anxiety and fears, but there was also the impacts that they had on people's businesses and their relationships and everything. So it's been a busy 5 years.
Yeah, I bet.
Unfortunate in that sense for me.
And we should, that's the perfect segue to talk about the fact that you're touring Australia, which is amazing. I remember getting the first text message, or probably one of the first text messages of like, "Hey, I'm actually going to book the Opera House." And I was like, this is wild. I have a friend who's doing a show at the Opera House. This is crazy.
Yeah, that was my first show last year. Yeah.
Unreal. So you're doing a second tour.
I am. So this is my first time doing an actual proper tour. So this is going to be a 10-city 3-month-long kind of tour. So going all around Australia and New Zealand as well.
Unreal. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I can't wait to have you there, Sally.
I will. I was going to say, I'm definitely going to be there. I am there. It's booked in the diary. I will say, I didn't really know what to expect when I went to a live show, because I've only ever experienced mediums, obviously one-on-one, which I think is like the normal format.
Of course, yeah.
But sitting in an audience, I was kind of thinking, I'm not sure how this is going to work. Like, and I know you're actually really hilarious as well. So I'm like, is this going to be a bit of stand-up or what's going to happen? I think people have to experience it themselves to understand what actually goes on, because it's really hard for me to describe. But there was tears around the audience. You hit some insane detail that didn't make sense to anyone but you and the person you were speaking to. And it totally shook me. I was really, really, not that I had ever not had faith in your skills, but I was actually, I've never seen it and didn't know that there was going to be that much detail. And what I found even more amazing, if you remember this, because I'm sure you kind of tune out in some points. There was actually a connection between two people who were sat separately in the audience, and they were like, "Oh, we know this person as well."
What are the chances?
Very random. And so there was like this whole connection piece going across the audience. You were just a bystander. You're like, let these guys chat it out.
Literally. Especially because my friend who had the connection was from Melbourne anyway, and this was at Sydney.
Right.
So,
it was a really beautiful thing to witness. So everyone was kind of like holding hands in the audience and having some tears. And
cute.
It was beautiful. It was such a good experience. So I highly recommend it to anybody who has the opportunity to get to see you in person and do the live stuff, or obviously try and get on the wait list for a one-on-one, which I still haven't managed to do, I might add.
You know you're VIP.
No, I've got my own stuff going on. But what I will say is I can only imagine, certainly from speaking to my clients as well, that people come to you, as you were saying, like they're going through difficult situations and potentially personally, they might have had someone cross over. I will often get somebody who's in a health predicament, but you'll get someone who's probably more in an emotional predicament in that moment. How do you set yourself up for the day, like in terms of your morning routine, for prepping yourself for dealing with, I'm just going to say emotional burnout, because you will get a lot of people coming to you with heavy information.
Yeah.
How do you kind of protect yourself from that? And is there something that you do in the morning to set yourself up for a good day?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great question, because even for me, when I reflect upon it, like I've been doing this full time for 8 years now. So I've also sort of, set my boundaries emotionally to protect myself. But in terms of routine, like I'm kind of antisocial in the mornings, really. Like I just love, like I'll do the gym 3 days a week. So I do that morning, like it's always 7:45 a.m. Then I'll have breakfast and I'll go for a beach walk. So every morning, usually rain, hail or shine, I'm doing a 90-minute walk along the beach in Melbourne.
Beautiful. Green tick, because you were worried about this conversation about I'm not that healthy.
This may be the only green tick I'm getting, but that's okay. So it just, to be barefoot on the ground, it sounds again so cliche, but it just helps really to center you and balance you, and it allows yourself to think a bit more clear and a bit more concise. So I always do that before I start work.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's not cliche, it works. It's like the basics
really
work, and
Yeah.
like barefoot especially, I find. I actually don't know the science behind it, which is one of my bugbears, because I love knowing the science behind everything. It's something to do with the ion exchange between human and earth and all that jazz. But I love that you do that, and I would highly recommend that to anyone. And you're getting all your steps in.
Exactly right.
King of
I
steps.
always aim for 10 to 15,000 steps a day.
Do you have a training schedule? Do you actually train at the gym at the moment?
I've
or
got
are
a
you
PT.
Have you?
Yeah, because I won't do it by myself. So if I'm
Okay.
in the gym, I'm like, I'm not lifting that. But if I have someone yelling, well, not yelling at me, he's actually really lovely. But if he tells me to do it, I'm like, great, I'll do it.
Do it if you ask me nicely.
Yeah, that's me. He doesn't even ask nicely. He just says, okay, we're doing this. I'm like, great.
Do you know what? I think that's so important, knowing what is your motivator, because some people are externally motivated and some people are intrinsically motivated, right?
I'm
Like,
not motivated by the gym at all.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Whereas I set a schedule and a routine and habits, and I'm like, I can get to the gym, and I actually hate it when someone tells me what to do, and I don't get on with PTs for this reason. I've had a few fallings out at the gym. I'm like, you can't tell me what to do. I'm doing it right. So I like doing it under my own speed. Whereas some people are really smart and they go, you know what? If I don't book an appointment, I'm never going to go and do it. So that's smart.
This is it. Like,
Play
I'm
to your
30
strengths.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm 38 now, 38 and a half. And I started the gym about 18 months ago, was it? But like
the guns are on display, sir. The biceps.
But it got to the stage, and I'm sure you can appreciate this as well. Like, I don't have the abs that I had when I was 20 without even trying. Like, we would go out for a dance on a Saturday night and not have dinner, and then suddenly would wake up looking fit AF. So I got to 37 and I was like, it's not getting better. You know what I mean? Like I'm naturally relatively healthy. Naturally relative may be healthy. The way I word that's a bit interesting. But I was like, I'm going to get older. My body's going to get weaker. So it's like I can be getting older and stronger, or I can be getting older and weaker. It's a decision.
I love that. I love that messaging. I'd really try and push that with clients. This is not necessarily about getting your 20-year-old body back.
No.
This is about building a strong old lady body
100%.
so that you are able to get in and out of a chair independently at 80 years old. That's the goal.
We all take it for granted. That's the thing. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm noticing changes. I'm definitely the strongest I've ever been in my life now.
Well
I might not have the abs I had when I was 20, but I don't care.
But abs don't represent health, and
No,
people
exactly right.
hate hearing this.
You're so right.
But you can be so undernourished and have incredible abs. I know, and we'll get onto your journey in a sec, but I certainly had an unhealthy relationship with food to get abs. And I got the abs and all my hair fell out and I lost my periods, and I was actually having a terrible relationship with food and malnutrition. We have to remember that those two things don't correlate, because I think people will often come to me and say, I just want to get abs. And it's like, that's fine, but we have to do it in a healthy way. And we really are going to have to cut out like all the alcohol and all the extra bits and bobs, which makes life pretty miserable. So
it's all mind, body and soul.
Absolutely
It all
done.
connects. Yeah.
So speaking to not having a great relationship with food, because we've both been on that journey, can you tell me a little bit more about, because you mentioned it earlier, a little bit more about your relationship with food over the years and how it's changed?
Yeah, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I definitely look back on my teenage years in particular, and I was never diagnosed with an eating disorder, but I definitely had what is now labeled disordered eating because I just had a control relationship with food. And I think, a lot of people listening will probably look back and reflect on that as well. But because life was so chaotic and there was a lot of great changes, this is, 15, 16, 17, it's puberty, it's the teenage angst, it's everything that was going on for me, 20 years ago. But food was the one thing I could control. So I found myself not eating as well because I could control the situation. And I knew I was skinny. I didn't like it. But I was also a bit of a picky eater when I was younger. And I got to the stage where I was the same height I am now when I was 18, but I was a good 12, 13 kilos lighter. So you can imagine how skinny I was because I'm already quite small framed and slim already.
Wow.
So it really got to the stage in my mid-20s, well, probably a bit earlier, but I was like, no. Like you do eat, you like food. You know you're too skinny, and it's just an instant switch. I was fortunate there to have sort of the the realization and also the tenacity to kind of just push through it and be like, no, you need to eat more. You need to eat more healthy, and you need to look after yourself.
That's amazing that you had that realization yourself. Did you? Because often I think people will have a poor relationship with food, but not realize that's what it is, and they think that they're being their healthiest self, or they feel like they're, I guess, meeting society's standards of what's considered healthy. And then when you actually look at, okay, are we meeting vitamin D requirements, magnesium? Are you actually getting enough protein in? Do you feel strong?
And terrible skin. Like,
there you go. I was going to say, was there any health complications off the back of not eating so much?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had really bad acne. I mean, I still get even pimples that will pop up now, but as I've gotten older, that's balanced itself out, and especially as my diet and health views have changed. But really from 14 to 30, my skin wasn't ideal.
I think skin's a huge one for people, isn't it?
Well, even from a spiritual perspective, like the gut is the engine of the car, which I'm sure you can appreciate, and that will show up in the skin. And Chinese medicine understands that. Spiritual energy understands that. Like the face is really the dashboard of the car.
It is the dashboard. I always say, so skin is like one of the most beautiful ways of checking health. I will say though, I have been very fortunate. For some reason, genetically, I was never the person who detoxed through my skin. So I never got the pimples and the acne. Very, very lucky. I know. So if I even for PMS, I get one pimple a month and it goes. It's normally very quick, there for 2 or 3 days. So I don't really detox through skin. However, I show it in other ways. So my skin will go dull, for example, whereas I just won't come out in pimples.
Vitality changes.
Exactly. But I always say you're not for men, but your period is your health report card, and then your skin is kind of your ongoing vitality check. So that's a really beautiful way of looking at it.
I still find men go through cycles though. We might not have a period.
Tell me.
Every 4 weeks.
Every 4 weeks.
Our moods are different.
Really?
I mean, the woo-woo within me, the spiritual side references are linking up with the moon cycles as well. But guys, they maybe don't have bleeding, but they definitely go through cycles. So we think we're immune, but
I'm so pleased a guy said this and I haven't had to interject. I love
science
this.
Science may dislagree, but science is just one aspect of it.
I really love this, sir. Thank you so much for sharing because
she
it
paid
probably
me $20 to say that. No, I'm joking.
Sliding money across the table. But I completely agree. I think it's fair to say that men have different cycles to us, but there's definitely a fair correlation with mood and fluctuations.
I 100% agree. And it's always on a certain
cycle.
Yep, cycle's the key word, isn't it?
Yes, I like it. Okay, walk me through. You're in my clinic. We're going to go over a day on your plate. I want to hear from first coffee, first thing in the morning, or whatever you take in, water, hopefully not drugs, and then right all the way through till bedtime.
Yeah.
Give me a good average day.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm actually really, inverted commas, good. I won't do coffee.
Oh, excuse me.
So I'm one of the only adults.
You one up on me already.
Yeah, well, I do when I travel actually, but not when I'm living my routine in Melbourne. So before I go to the gym, I will have like a protein shake that I use with coconut milk.
Well done.
Coconut milk. No, coconut water.
Okay.
When I'm feeling a little bit spicy, a bit of creatine in there.
Oh.
But I just like to keep it really nice and plain in the morning. I used to do smoothies, but I was finding the bananas and all that just wasn't impacting gut health properly. So I just cut out the smoothies and I just do protein with the coconut water.
Smart.
Then after the gym, I'm very routine with my breakfast. So I'll have tuna and mayo on like on pumpkin bread toast.
Oh, are you making this pumpkin bread?
No, I get it from IGA. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, delicious.
And then the part that I already know needs to change, and you're going to be like, I usually won't have lunch.
We've spoken about this.
Yeah.
We have spoken about this before.
But if I do have lunch, it actually is pretty good because I'll do those like the ready-made sort of muscle chef meals or the health meals.
See, I'm going to hold judgment. I completely appreciate that convenience is key.
Yeah.
And
I don't cook.
Neither do I really. And I'm the nutritionist, but I put stuff in a bowl or I'll heat things. Like I apply heat. That's what I say. I don't cook. I apply heat to stuff.
Okay.
But what I will say is the muscle chef meals, God love them, are serving a great convenience for a lot of people, but the ingredients could be a little bit better.
I never read the ingredients.
Of course not. Who has the time? It's
protein.
my job.
I'm
I know. Well,
someone's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're getting your protein in. I love that. If I was being extra picky, I'd put you onto a couple of different brands that you can get that are different, still convenient, but a little bit different, that have got less rubbish in them.
There's some great brands.
Sorry, Muscle Chef.
No, I get it.
Even though there's one called Fast Fuel in the supermarkets in Australia that's actually got less rubbish in.
Yeah.
And Macros is also a good one, but I think they're online only. So
I need to change this habit again because, like I said, I'm not doing it every day anyway. So
absolutely, yeah. It's once in a blue moon, 80-20 protocol. You know the drill. Like 80% of the time, we're trying to make good choices. 20% of the time, you just go with the flow.
It was the other way around. No, sorry. What's
that? I have Red Bull 80% of the day.
No, I actually kind of do. Oh God, I'm just going to tell you because we're putting everything on the table. This is the most vulnerable podcast I've ever been on.
I love this.
And then because I haven't had lunch, I'm like, a little bit tired. I'll have a Red Bull.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then I buy a pack of 24 from Costco for $48, by the way.
Okay, bargain.
Yeah, exactly. So
do you like the taste of Red Bull?
No.
Okay.
Really. It says 0 sugar, and I was like, well, why is it so sweet? Because there's obviously a lot of not ideal
sugar alcohols in there, probably. Yeah.
And then dinners is really good. So if I'm not out for dinner, I actually have dinner with my mum because she lives in the same suburb as me, and she's a great cook. So she makes great chicken meals, great beef meals. Like every night I'm having dinner at her house, it's always going to be meat, and we do vegetables.
What's her background? Is she like
Anglo-Irish? Yeah. So she's one of us. Like you and I. Well, I'm definitely one of her. So yeah.
You're like, yes, I'm definitely hers. But she doesn't have a particular style of cooking. She doesn't like love Italian or Mexican, or is she just very like plain
Mexican
stuff?
Food is great. She has great enchiladas.
Oh, I'm coming over.
Yeah, 100%. Oh,
fantastic. 100%. Okay, stunning.
Yeah, so yeah,
we love the mum.
So she does great meals, like great pasta dishes as well.
Okay, and if you were to survive on your own without mum, what would you cook at home?
I wouldn't. I haven't cooked for years. I actually get Uber Eats. But
fair.
You're like, cut.
It's the convenience.
I like it. Convenience, but it's also like I'm actually like I can admit I'm not because I live by myself.
Sure.
I don't find enjoyment in cooking. Like if I had a partner, maybe.
I say this to people all the time. I'm in
it's an excuse.
Exactly the same boat.
Yeah.
I'm in exactly the same boat. If I wasn't in the career that I'm in, I would absolutely be doing the same thing. There is never any judgment, and I completely appreciate the need for convenience and the distaste for cooking because I don't think it's in our community values anymore, is it? Of like we all want to buy our time back and we do that through convenience. But it's not a community thing where we all stand together and cook and share a meal around a table.
I'm also not going to cook dumplings at home, you know what I mean?
And it's like an hour's job for a 10-minute enjoyment. It's like the payoff's not good.
Exactly right. I cooked for I cooked for 4 hours to eat for 10 minutes and then wash up for 30 minutes. I'm like,
literally.
Great. So, but when I did cook at home, this is pre-COVID.
Okay.
I was
rewind.
I could make a great steak.
Oh, okay.
Cook a great steak. I didn't make the steak.
Yeah, well, that's me applying.
There wasn't a cow in my building.
That's me applying heat. That's how I work. So I'll pick a protein, I'll put heat on it, I'll cook it, add a salad. We keep it simple.
And I would, I'd go to the deli and get a nice piece of salmon and cook that
beautiful.
up and do that with a bit of risotto or something on the side.
A risotto. That's fancy.
I was good at making pasta dishes, but I also need to change my mindset around it because it is a bit of that disordered eating coming in where I look at carbs as bad.
Okay.
So I won't.
This is the juice I wanted to hear.
Exactly.
Because I had the same thing.
Like if I'm not working out, carbs are just going to make me fat.
Yes.
That's my mindset.
Yeah. Which is so interesting, isn't it? Because I think that's so many people's mindset, particularly around carbs, is if I have too many carbs, I'm going to put weight on. But realistically, we know that it's total caloric intake that matters.
Total what?
Caloric intake.
No. Where can I buy this caloric? I can't even say it, let alone buy it.
That's all right. Total calories, darling. So total energy intake. Caloric.
Caloric. That's it. Calorific.
Calorific, yeah. Total calorie intake that matters. So the I suppose the carbohydrate component doesn't matter so much if your calories are controlled, which sounds like you were incredible at doing at one point to the point where it was disordered. But there is this pervasive belief that carbohydrates are bad. And we actually really need them, particularly around training. It's really important that your body has fuel to access quite quickly. So when people say, oh, I don't want to have something that's going to spike my blood sugar. So anything that's like fast digesting, that's like, say, a banana, for example, or honey or a rice cake, or even, God forbid, something a bit more processed. They freak out like, this is not good for me. But when you look at what bodybuilders do on the very extreme end of trying to perform in the gym, they'll take Haribo and like fuzzy peaches and lollies and try and have the most processed sugars and carbohydrates because they're trying to get the blood sugar spike because they want that energy boost in the gym, which is actually really helpful. So I always say to people, if you're going to have processed more, I don't want to say junky, that's unfair, but more processed high sugar carbohydrates, having it around training is incredible because you use the sugar straight away. You don't store it.
Yeah. Well, the carbs for me mostly just pastas, really.
Amazing. Yeah. Yum. And you can get high protein pasta now.
Yeah.
You can get lentil pasta.
So here's the question. If I have so obviously it's good for days that I work out.
Yeah, great.
But if I'm just at home and I haven't really been active, I mean, I go for my morning walk, try and get 10,000 steps, yes. But if I'm just at home and I haven't worked out that day and then I have a bowl of pasta, does that just, does it become then storing as fat? Or
no, I think this is what worries me is that people believe that rather than looking across a week from a macro perspective of what's the quality of my diet like and am I fueling myself. So let's say you're going to go to the gym the next day. That carbohydrate is stored as glycogen ready to fuel your session. Perfect, right? Okay. If you starve yourself of carbohydrates at dinner and then you go and try and do a decent session without your coconut water, which is carbohydrates, I know. No, I know. Yeah. Surprise. Yeah. Then you're going to be really fatigued and you're going to have a much more average session.
I'm so fatigued in the morning anyway. It doesn't matter how well I sleep. I mean, I know we're getting into sleep next,
okay.
Ideally,
well, have you had bloods taken recently?
No.
Well, can we please get that and I'll review them for you?
You have a needle, go for it. Yeah, it'd be good.
I'd be interested to know what your iron stores are doing and what your vitamin D is doing. If your energy is a bit low, and what's quality of sleep like?
Not ideal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you take any supplements?
No, I used to do omega-3.
Okay.
But I right now I don't do any supplements at all.
Okay.
Every now and then, if I've had a longer day, and I know I don't have to get up early in the morning and I'm going to bed relatively early, I like to do a melatonin, just a natural.
Ooh, spicy.
So that is it?
Spicy. Well,
I get it from America. They're 5 mils.
I was going to say everybody gets the American one because they know that in Australia, well, in Australia you actually can't buy melatonin unless you're 50 or over and you're struggling with sleep. Oh. And so what is considered a sleep aid in Australia is normally pretty average or low dose or not available. So people go on iHerb and then they'll go and buy the melatonin.
Maybe, I don't know. No, but I get it over the counter. Well, not even over the counter. You can buy it
you travel a lot and you can buy
it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can probably get a good quality one. My only beef with melatonin is that is that it is a hormone. Right? It's actually a hormone. And so it's hormone replacement therapy if you want to think of it like that. Whereas
am I on HRT at the moment?
Pretty much, sir. That's what we can call it. Yeah.
Why am I getting good? Right.
But what I would say is there are natural options that aren't going to interact with your own hormone production. Like a herb, I would use valerian, which is my favorite. So valerian forte, you can just get it straight up. You don't need it mixed with anything else. You don't need the ones that say sleep elixir and restful night and all this random jazz. I will send you a recommendation. I really like valerian forte though. It's a really beautiful herb. It gets you into REM sleep faster and holds you there longer.
Oh, where do we get this from?
You literally go and get it from the counter. Anywhere. You can get it from the supermarket. Really? You can get it off the shelf in the supermarket. Most people don't know what it is, so they never buy it.
They avoid it.
Because who knows what valerian forte is? Exactly. Unless it says sleep aid on the front of it, and then it's normally mixed with other things, and then it's not as effective because it's got a slight dose in. Yeah. So going for a good valerian forte, really beautiful for sleep, doesn't make you have inertia in the morning. So you were saying, I don't feel energized when I wake up. It doesn't contribute to feeling sleepier in the morning, which is great. It's more for people who, if you are pretty restless or you hear noises and you sleep pretty surface level and you're not getting into deep sleep, then it's perfect for that. What I will warn you though is, because it does get you into REM, particularly for you being spiritual, you're going to have a lot of dreams. You'll probably get all sorts of weird and wonderful memories when you wake up of what's been happening during your sleep.
That'd be good.
You might get some cool insights.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I get a lot of my spiritual psychic downloads when I'm sleeping.
Oh, you're going to love it then. You're going to love this. And it's non-addictive. It's cheap, accessible. Yeah.
Non-addictive.
I wish it was. But you'll honestly wake up feeling like you've slept like a baby. I love it for so many clients. So I think that's a good option for you, sir.
Especially if there's not the inverted commas hangover effect.
Absolutely. Yeah. Which you can get from Xanax and all that extra bits and bobs.
Xanax anyway,
but even with melatonin.
It's illegal without a prescription.
Well said. Well said.
But even melatonin, exactly. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I use it on sleepy moms. And then what I would say as well is, so your creatine that you've already got at home that you've already mentioned, I did a podcast, I did do a podcast episode about this, but I also did a reel this week about creatine and how you can dose it acutely. So you take 4 times the normal dose on the days that you're sleep deprived, and it will bring your brain back online without over caffeinating. So you're not having 2 Red Bulls on the days that you haven't slept properly. Okay. So you can do a 20-gram dose of creatine, and all the studies are saying it's safe.
Wakes you up.
Yes, it brings your brain to full function again when you're sleep deprived.
There you go.
So you don't want to be doing it every day. It's in special circumstances. Say if you had an event or you're doing a podcast or whatever, you can do a 20-gram dose and you'll feel a lot more. In your
bag. So I've got a very busy day ahead today.
Walking around with white powder in my bag in Sydney is probably not a smart move.
Bondi, it's fine.
So Dane, tell me, so we've gone over day on a plate. I think it's actually, apart from talking about specifics around protein, it sounds like you're getting plenty of variety and balance. And definitely. That's great. Yep. And I would definitely have you having a lunch. I don't like people going a long period without food, particularly when you're in strength training.
I do also do the 16-8 in some ways.
Okay, cool. Yeah. But in the middle of the day?
I should probably eat. Yeah. That's part of the 16.
That's okay. Confusing. Yeah. But I'll have a chat with you separately about actually dosing for some supplementation, because I think that'd be smart for sleep, just to get your brain working again and making your energy come back online. And bloods, please.
Oh, I'd love to do the bloods, but also I interrupt my own sleep, and I know that it's a really toxic habit, but you probably know what I'm about to say. A tech in the bed. We're all guilty of it, I know, but I can really appreciate that it obviously wakes the brain up and affects the sleep.
Well, it affects your melatonin production, right? Because we're getting blue light coming in and your body's going, oh, it's daytime, cool. And then it suppresses the melatonin. Yeah. So then you're going, oh, well, I'll scroll on my phone and I'll take a tablet.
Yeah, take a melatonin.
It's like one counteract one another. And so, we'll just end up back where we started.
No Red Bull
Exactly. No Red Bull at night, babe. What time are you drinking it?
No, only the afternoon.
Which is amazing that your body can clear it. Because if I have a Red Bull like post 1 o'clock, I would be wired.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So caffeine's got a really long half-life, which means that the caffeine, say you have 200 milligrams of caffeine, it takes about 6 hours for it to be circulating 100 milligrams of caffeine in your bloodstream. So imagine you're having... to completely get out of your system.
There you go.
So it's still going to affect you at bedtime. So say you have it at 1 or 2 o'clock, 6 hours later, which is like your 7 or 8, when your body's supposed to be winding down, you still got half the caffeine circulating in your system.
Okay. So that's not ideal.
Not fab. No. Which is why, like, I always say, try and have a carb at lunchtime, and then everything else after that wants to be decaf. If you've got, you need to be on for an event, or you've got a big night out or whatever, sure, push it out till 2 o'clock. But just be aware if it is affecting your sleep. Some people can clear it really quickly, and it's a genetic, actually like a genetic thing where they get the benefit of clearing caffeine a lot quicker than everyone else.
But the thing is as well, say if I do it every day at 2 o'clock for a month straight, does my body then get used to it?
It definitely does.
So then it would wear off differently? Or
so it still stays in your bloodstream, but it has less of a boosting impact. So you'll still have your sleep affected, unfortunately. It doesn't kind of dismiss that part.
Feel tired and just then not sleep.
Exactly.
Right.
But I know you're like, awesome.
I think I've got that.
All the negative impacts and no benefit. Yeah. But the boost that you get is significantly less, which is frustrating. Yeah. But interestingly, you know how we talk about exercise and how you get the endorphins, and people are saying, well, we get stress off exercise. When we over-exercise, we're worried about everyone's doing too much HIIT, and now the cortisol's getting thrown off, and we're worried about that aspect of things. But the same impact of like having your caffeine and getting adjusted to it, the same impact comes from doing your same exercise and adjusting to it. So in the way that we use exercise for a little booster in the morning, if you continue to do the same exercise, it doesn't have the same impact over a period of time.
On this topic, and so many people say, you've just mentioned it, I never get that hit from exercising.
Really?
Exercising actually makes me feel really tired.
That's so interesting. We need to go over these bloods, sir, because it could be a liver clearance thing.
Okay. Well, see, liver's alcohol and all that as well, which I can appreciate. But like, I only had it once when I got out of a Pilates class ready to take over the world. I was like, wow.
Really?
That was the only time I've had it, but I've never had it in the gym, and I don't get it from PT.
What do you get it from?
Well, nothing in the morning really.
Is
I'm
there
just my own
anything you
life.
do where you get like, where you actually walk away like, I don't know, an ice bath or a sauna or any kind of particular movement,
No.
dance class? You don't walk away and you're like, I'm pumped up. I've got the endorphins. I'm
No.
happy. Wow.
Maybe I'm lacking endorphin stimulators
I'm
in
numb.
the brain. You said ice bath, and I'm like, does anyone actually? Your
No,
body's
nobody
just
likes
happy.
ice
Yeah,
baths.
exactly. Your body's just happy not to be hypothermic. That's
Yeah,
why you suddenly feel
fair.
great after an ice bath. Like,
I know. And the dopamine thing of like, I did something hard, but
Yeah.
fair enough. Have you done ice baths or you're not into
I
them?
did one, and I was like, no.
You enjoyed it?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
I don't like them.
No.
I really don't get enjoyment from
No.
them.
And everyone's like, oh, you need to get into the ocean. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
It's not the Titanic. We don't need to get in cold water right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Have you had any moments where your body has fought against you a little bit? I think you mentioned something about parasites in Bali, or am I wrong? Tell
well,
me.
it was just my own research. So, which is always a great way to start a
Dr.
sentence.
Google.
Dr. Google. But because I'd spent a lot of time in the developing world and, I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of travel over the last sort of 20 years in some ways. And the very first time I went to Thailand, it was 2006. So, Thailand's obviously very different then. I got, food poisoning, I think 3 times. And then, but just, travel through the developing world. Like I've been to Bali and been to other places. And I just, because my gut health wasn't ideal, which I could self-diagnose, and that just through what I was feeling
Symptoms.
and symptoms and, even inflammation, I decided to do just a parasite cleanse, which was completely unguided. Actually, ChatGPT gave me some tips, which
Chat
again
Daddy.
is great.
Amazing.
Chat Daddy. He's like, he's never said anything's a bad idea. But I did have ivermectin, which I did source overseas when I was overseas. So it wasn't illegal.
And did it work for you? Did you find that you got benefit from taking it and the symptoms disappeared, or not
No.
really?
So I then was probably deducing, it's probably the Red Bull then.
Okay, yeah, parasite, Red Bull, not sure which one.
And the parasite was sick of fasting and then having a Red Bull, so it's like, I'm out.
Yeah, fair. You know, next time this happens, you have to come to me, sir.
I know.
And we're going to do a proper gut test
need
and
to
find
come
out
to
if it is a
professional.
parasite.
Yeah.
All I would say is, if you do have, this, but if you have gut symptoms, it's just, but you've got my number. You message me. But gut symptoms are normally
I
just.
think I was annoying you, to be very fair about that.
Good.
Actually, yeah.
Did I say take ivermectin? I don't think I would have done.
No, you said had a Red Bull and ivermectin. I don't know if that's going to work.
Not.
No, you definitely did not. That is the opposite of what you would probably tell me, I think.
I would have made you do a poo test. I'm so sorry. I do stool testing for parasites. So
I can send you some in the mail.
Oh, please. That's exactly what we do. So I send you a kit and you get a little cup at home. It's horrible. And then you have to poop in a cup, scoop it, and then send it off for the postman, poor guy. And then we actually analyze for parasites. You can get some of that stuff tested on Medicare. So again, go to a GP. If you haven't got the funds to do it privately, just go to a GP and have a conversation about it. My only worry is that, so different parasites need different treatments often. And sometimes they'll say, you need to take this antibiotic or whatever. They'll give you different antibiotics for different bacteria and different pathogens. So you just want to be sure that you're tackling the right one with the right thing, right tool for the job.
There's not one size fits all. No.
Absolutely. Or just come to me and I'll sort your poo test out. It's a good job we're close friends, isn't it?
I was like, you directly, or should I mail it to someone?
Not to me, thank you. I do actually receive photos sometimes from people, and I'm like, I'm not into it, like a written description, perfectly fine. The photos, not so much, not so much.
People are silly. Like, don't do that, guys. No one wants to see a picture.
So how's your gut health now? Have you got symptoms or no?
I definitely think I'm swollen, like inflamed, swollen.
Really? Swollen?
Yeah. But again,
is that from fizzy drinks, do we think?
Definitely. Like, I mean, even, having the Red Bull beforehand hasn't helped. And my diet's has been a bit all over the place this week. And I definitely noticed that impacting gut health, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
And
does it impact your work in terms of like feeling more clear with intuition, or does it? You just like, no, it's literally just my body and my brain gets the downloads.
So this is the thing, and I know as a professional, you're going to be like, oh, but so many mediums, including myself, have all said the same thing. When we don't eat or we go extended fasting, it actually helps even make the mind a bit more clear and provides actually more clarity.
Interesting.
So I think in that sense, it was something that I was doing without even realizing. But if I skipped lunch, my readings were even more clear than they already were.
Right.
And then once I noticed that, that's when I stopped having lunch as much, because I think
affects your job.
Well, again, to look at the gut, it's like the engine. So if the engine's running on empty, it just provides a lot more clarity to me.
Fair.
Scientifically,
I guess you're in rest or digest, right? As opposed to so your body's can focus on other activities, which is what happens in fasting.
I'm interested to see your opinion in this as well, because when I read, my brain waves actually do go into the same level as actually being asleep.
Yeah, which makes sense. It's the rest and digest phase because you won't have food traveling through your body and it's not sending energy there to your gut, and you can be clear. And people say that a lot about fasting though, don't they? They'll have a coffee or they won't do a coffee. And after a period of time, the clarity, they might get headaches for a few days. But the clarity from fasting that people report is meant to be phenomenal. But I truly believe it's because they aren't digesting food. And sometimes when they have carbohydrates, obviously you feel a little bit sleepy. It's like when you have a big Christmas dinner, and you're like, oh, I am pooped, I'm full. Yeah. And your body kind of shuts down a little bit and you feel really lethargic because you're processing lots of sugar. And that obviously impacts how clear we are. And I can only imagine that really then impacts your work specifically, because I need to be online, but I'm not getting messages from people. That's a bit of a different story.
Yeah. I'm like, someone here says that they love you. Thank you. Bye. No, that's it. So
tell me a little bit. I want to take it off topic of food. Tell me a little bit about your podcast, because I'm fascinated by this new venture that you started jumping into. I want to hear a little bit about what you actually do on the podcast, because I hear that you did a little bit of a press tour with somebody was it from Forbes, and you made them cry because you did a reading.
Well, that was part of my PR press tour. But on the podcast, what I wanted to do
is everybody in tears. That's what I want to know on the podcast.
Well, we aim for that because it makes for great content. You know, everyone sees people chat, but if you see this person cry, great for reels on Instagram. But basically the aim for the podcast, so it's called Medium at Large, and it's me wanting to bring on people, and a lot of them are friends of mine, or they're even people that I've connected with, but they have a social profile. You might have seen them on TV, you might see them on Instagram, and you might have seen them on 100 different things before, but you've never seen them sit down with a psychic medium and we talk about life, and then inevitably I read for them.
Beautiful.
So it's all live, it's unfiltered and uncensored, except for the things that maybe they don't want public, but we still censor that. But
I've got to ask a question. Do you ever do some background research?
I can't, because I don't want to know anyone. And this is what I say the difficult thing about doing a podcast, because when you have your guests on, like you want to do
kind of want to do the research, right?
So there's even been some guests where I know their name, but what I love to do in my episodes, like I want to have a talk to them about life at the start and then go into reading them in all of my episodes.
Yeah.
But when they're a guest where I only know them by name, I was like, well, I actually don't know that much about, you know what I mean? So I can't really go into talking about their life because I didn't want to know anything about their life.
Yeah.
So it always adds for a fun conversation.
You're learning new things in live and in stereo. Literally. Like, oh, I didn't know anything about you, actually.
Everyone watching's like, they were on maths. And I was like, really? Great.
Okay,
like,
cool.
You know, who isn't? And then, and I've also, just been doing a press and PR tour for my upcoming live show.
I'm waiting for you to do a book. That's what I would like.
See, again, I would like to do a book, but I'm also a little bit too lazy right now to write one.
You are not. That's why we have ghostwriters for.
But I think I've got undiagnosed ADD. So it's sort of like.
We all have that. I'm actually getting diagnosed at the moment, which is perfect because it has gone undiagnosed for a little bit too long. And I'm like, I truly believe
$5,000 for them to tell you something you already know. It's like Chat Daddy already told me this.
Actually, Chat Daddy's told me I have ADHD.
Chat Daddy actually told me I had high functioning burnout. And I'm like, that's a compliment.
Oh.
Yeah. He also agrees with every business idea I have as well. So I'm like, okay.
I know. I feel like it's a bit of a yes man sometimes. Some of the things that I'll put in there and I'll like ask leading questions and then they always confirm what I want to hear. Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen on the media though this week that they're able to, like, it's actually able to be used in a court of law. So everything that you say that you think's in private.
Yeah, isn't. Yeah, well, that's the thing.
It's no longer private.
It's the same with all the Meta apps and all that as well. Like everything that's out there is out there. That's the thing that's not necessarily private.
We don't own it anymore, sadly. Tricky. So everybody who's been Googling and chat daddying all their health concerns, please don't, just in case your health insurer gets hold of it. Because that could be a real concern.
It's all in the terms and conditions.
It is. It really is. So you're doing the podcast. What else is coming up for you in David the Medium's world?
Yeah, so the live tour that you were kind enough to mention before, that begins in October and they'll be running through to mid-December. I've all got a very exciting announcement that I can't talk about yet because it's under embargo, but that will be the end of December, something really, really fun that's coming. And then, next year, it's just, I just want to continue doing what I'm doing. Like I love being able to sit down with people and be able to read for them. And,
you travel a lot, by the way. So I would love to get on top of You Got Health with you and even speak to you about the colostrum thing that we were just chatting about off air. So certainly talking to the Thailand and Bali, there is a supplement that you can actually take that avoids all the drama in third world countries. And I will never, because I have a phobia of vomit. Like it's a genuine emetophobia issue. I haven't vomited since I was 13, touch wood. I'm now 39 next month. And I've managed to get through my whole life without it, even traveling to Bali multiple times and brushing my teeth with the tap water, which is, I know, dangerous territory.
I won't even do that in Sydney. Okay, well.
Where's my Pellegrino? So if you can there's something called Travelan that you can go and get from the chemist. It's about $40 for a packet of it. It is worth its weight in gold. It's just colostrum. So it's the first mother's milk from a cow when they've had a baby. And it's got all the antibacterial and antimicrobial milk kind of components that are then powdered up. It sounds a little bit gross, but it's powdered up and then it's put into a capsule. And it stops E. coli adhering to the intestinal wall. So if you do get food poisoning and you take the tablet with the meal, it will pass through your system without actually causing any health issues. You'll never know.
Same with women's milk as well, though, when they've got
breast milk.
Babies. Yeah.
I don't know the answers to that.
Yeah, like, I mean, not that I'm planning to go.
Whether it's got colostrum in.
But I imagine it would.
You would think so. I'll ask Chat Daddy.
Yeah, Chat's like, sure.
Maybe, try it.
Yeah, so
we're going to work on your gut health though, darling. I think that's a good choice. I think that would be a smart move.
Yeah,
and also with all the Red Bull and the extra like sugars and sweeteners and things that you're probably putting in there, we need to take care. We need to take good care of the gut health.
And I know it. I just haven't.
I know.
Yeah.
That's all right.
You know what it's like. We all find things that work for us and we're like, let's not rock the boat right now. But
absolutely.
And then longer term,
knowledge is power, but it doesn't mean action. And that's why it's good to always, I say outsource the stuff. I know how to clean, but do I want to clean? No. That's why I have a cleaner, like outsource to people. So if you, obviously, if you ever want any guidance, you know exactly where I am, darling. But I will say, if anybody wants to link up with you and find you on socials, or even perhaps buy a ticket for this incredible tour that's coming up, because I'm going to be in the audience, everybody.
Sally will be there, Sydney.
And also, if people want to have a private with you, because I certainly get clients that will come to me, and unfortunately, it's outside of my zone of expertise because I'm obviously focused on the nutrition side of things, but they'll come to me and say, I put weight on because I'm going through grief or
trauma.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of unspoken and hidden psychological things going on for people a lot of the time when they overeat, which is why they'll come to me.
100%. There's always an emotional beginning, I say. With everything in our body, whether any kind of illnesses or any kind of emotional, physical impacts that we see, it all has an energetic, emotional beginning somewhere in the body.
Absolutely.
It's the same, I believe.
And so how can people connect with you over that is the first question.
Yeah,
can I send people your way?
Yeah. So I mean it is, I can appreciate it is quite difficult for people to get appointments with me, but it is all through my website, which is davidthemedium.com. I do one-on-ones and group readings. It's all via Zoom, so it doesn't matter where in the world.
You do groups? I didn't know this.
Yeah. So
wow.
They all have to be in the same room, but it's all over Zoom, so we can do it anywhere in the world. And
awesome.
The live show tickets will be available through my website as well.
Beautiful.
And you can also follow along on Instagram and TikTok, which is at David the Medium, all one word, and YouTube and Facebook.
Honestly, his rants on stories get real juicy, and I love them. I love them. You are my only source of political news, and I'm like, David will know. Yeah. David will know, but it's great because it keeps me in the loop about world events. I literally just come to you. Sometimes my dad will text me something from the UK and he'll be like, "Do you know there's flooding in wherever?" I'll be like, "I know, I didn't know that." I just cannot watch the news. It makes me miserable.
I say to everyone, and this is a big part of everyone's
so I just come to you instead.
In the world, though. But like so many people, I think, can agree with that, Sally. Like we watch the news and we feel so stressed because
absolutely,
events on the other side of the world that we have zero control over.
It's the control thing,
and we're made to feel anxious and stressed by something that's happening on the other side of the world that we can't control and has no impact on us. But we all feel the need to be global citizens and have an opinion. So
absolutely. Yeah.
And
this is why you should follow David.
You're like, rant over. This is not what the podcast was about.
I wanted to open the door. I liked it.
The door's open now. We'll never get out of here before 10 p.m.
Thank you. I know you've got an event to get off to. I really appreciate you coming and spending your
joking?
time in my clinic. It was so fun.
This is the best. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. And I can't wait to see what happens in these live events. I'm like, I obviously can't record it when I'm in